Hey everyone, it's Michael Goosebumps fan. I hope you're doing well today. I want to thank first and foremost, before I start this review, I want to thank everybody who watched, commented on the post and the previous video announcing my first ever horror short story, pulp story, adventure story, whatever you want to call it, that I posted on Amazon, KDP, for Kindle Direct Publishing, in case you guys want to check out that ebook. Again, it's about 30 pages long, about 8,000 words or so. And it's about $1.50 to pay for it if you want to. And it's also free if you have Kindle Unlimited. I have the description down in the comment section down below just so you know what the cover looks like and whatever. It's not written by Michael Goosebumps fan, it's written by John Karloff, which I guess will be my writing name. Anyway, last night I realized I hadn't read any Goosebumps this week. I've been reading like Hellraiser books like The Hellbound Heart from Clive Barker, The Scarlet Gospels, the Hellraiser, The Toll. I read all of these from my other main adult horror channel, or just adult books channel in general. It's just anything that's not really Goosebumps. It's called Mr. Wildboy 94, and I really enjoy a lot of that stuff. I'm a Clive Barker fan to a degree, so I have some reviews up for that. But this week I was busy so much reading those, I really thought about how I didn't really take any time to read some Goosebumps. And you know what? I decided last night, for about 2 hours, maybe less than that, maybe about an hour and 10 minutes, I thought, you know what? I'm going to sit down, I'm going to bomb through a Give Yourself Goosebumps book. And I hoped to God this particular one would not be as bad as the cover was. And boy, was I wrong. I picked a real stinky one. This one is Give Yourself Goosebumps number 28, Night of 1,000 Claws. Look at this garbage cover. Look at how trash this is, how bad it looks. That's a friggin' cat lady with long woman hair. Wow. What kind of trash is this? I don't even want to know who did the art for this. It's unbelievable. That's embarrassing in my opinion. I remember when this came in the mail back in the day when I was collecting. I think this is one of the ones I got from Thrift Books back when I was still living at home before I got married. Right around the time I had my back injury, I started collecting Goosebumps again because I got so into it. And this is one of the ones I bought, and I remember thinking there's probably a reason why this one was so cheap to find for $5, no shipping. It wasn't a bad deal at all. I'm glad I got it when I did, but I didn't expect this to be as bad as the cover was. I know there's some bad GYG covers out there. As much as I love GYG typically, as much as I have a typical good time with it, whether it be more of a scary one or a comedy-focused one or a little bit of both, I typically have a good time with these. And if you don't know what they are, they're choose-your-own-adventure books, which are, basically you read a page, you go to the bottom of the page, and you pick some choices, not on every single page, but most of the time. And then you skip around back and forth throughout your book to find the next choice you did. Now, I read the entire thing. I use a bunch of bookmarks, as I've said over and over again. I like to restate this in case this happens to be someone's first ever review from me or the first time they've ever heard of Give Yourself Goosebumps. I was a fan of Goosebumps for 20 years before I even knew these existed back in 2018. So I like to restate that in case you guys ever get frustrated with why I keep saying this stuff over and over again. And I'm repetitive. Yeah, you bet you didn't know that. Anyway, so Night of 1,000 Claws. What is this story about? Basically, you are one of a triplet set, and your brothers are there as well. I think it's Sam and Donnie, I think are the names. You two and your parents essentially are renting out some kind of summertime home for a summer vacation type of thing. It has sand dunes type stuff around it, but you're kind of renting out just a really nice summer home type of thing. And when you get out there, the cab driver that is driving you guys, he makes some comments about how weird the owner of this particular house is, called the Mad House, is where you're staying at, owned by a lady named like Katrina Mad or something. I don't know. I didn't care enough. By the time I got like the first 20 minutes into this book, I was like, nah, I don't care anymore. I realized real quick I wasn't going to care about this book. And I'll get there to why. Spoiler free, of course. As you're there, you start to notice there are cats everywhere. Not just in your house, not outside of your house, but just everywhere. There also happens to be a lighthouse nearby, which was cool as a little setting, a very odd setting, a beachy type of setting with a lighthouse there. I've never seen that in a Goosebumps book. I don't really see that in much fiction aside from Robert Eggers? Yeah, Robert Eggers' The Lighthouse. I thought that was bizarre. It's been a long time since I've seen something like that with a lighthouse involved so intricately in the story. Anyway, so your family stays there, and like day one, day one of it happening, one of your brothers goes missing. You and your other twin brother go looking for this triplet person, and basically you find him inside of the lighthouse, and You know, you might also find the scream somewhere else around the area too. That's kind of the real divide in the book. I'm gonna be honest with you, the whole cat story thing is so bizarre. I don't care about it. I like cats. My mom just got a cat last week that I went with her to go pick up the cat, almost an hour away from where we live. And such a sweet cat, Shelby. Sweet, sweet, sweet cat. I love cats, I always have. And yet, with this story, it's not even fun. It's not even a fun story. And of course, you can tell from the cover here, but the giant cat lady, there's somebody in this book who typically turns into a cat monstrosity of some sort like that. I don't really need to tell you who. If you start reading the book, you'll know immediately, because they're pretty much introduced in a weird way. I'm not going there. I don't care enough to talk about the details like that. This story, again, wasn't even fun. It didn't even have an adventurous feel to it to be a beach vacation story type of thing, to have a lighthouse involved for a set piece. It has almost nothing going for it. And for me, by the time I finished this book, all of these cringy cat puns. You want to take a guess? If there's a joke in here about cat got your tongue, you want to take a real good guess whether that stupid joke is in this thing, that overdone, over-easy joke. Do you want to take a guess on whether that's in this book? I promise you it is, my friend. There's stupid garbage like that in this book constantly, and it's not even clever. It's not even clever. It's the kind of thing that I would nearly bet my life, if I had to, that R.L. Stine did not write this book. I'd bet money on it. I know that a lot of the GYG books, if not a majority of them, supposedly are confirmed to have never been written by him. I will guarantee you, with my life and my soul probably, that he probably didn't write this piece of crap. It sucks. It's such a bad book. It's one of the few that I've read recently that I think genuinely has nothing to it. There was one thing in here. Now mind you, I had no intrigue whatsoever. From beginning of the story onward, I had no intrigue in this book. I knew nothing about it going into it. And yet, within the first 10 pages or 20 pages or whatever, it killed it immediately for me. I realized real quick I wasn't going to like this 140-page long book about cats being everywhere, and your character is being afraid of cats, and your brother's afraid of cats, your parents are afraid of cats, everybody in the town's afraid of cats. It's kind of an abandoned town because of the cats. That's not a horror story. Nor was it fun to read as a more comedy story. There was one part in this entire book that made me slightly grin to myself. Slightly grin to myself. I didn't even want to tell my wife what it was because it was such a dumb joke in this book. I don't even have words for it. It's such an awful read. If you ever have to avoid a GYG book, a Give Yourself Goosebumps book, a Choose Your Own Adventure type of book, avoid this one. If you want to collect it for your collection, that's fine and good. If you want to read them all to catch them all, that's fine. Try that too. But I'm going to tell you right now, this was bad. This was a really, really bad one, and I genuinely hated it. I almost regret reading this after reading like The Hellbound Heart, Scarlet Letters, all those books I read, because of how bad this was. It's embarrassing. I can't even like wrap my head around that I read this, and I got to the point that I just started bombing through it. I was trying my best to get through this garbage. I took like one break like halfway through. But it is unfathomably bad. You don't have words. I know it sounds dumb with the Cat Island thing, but I am telling you, you don't know how bad this got. You don't know how horrible this was. And I don't think, I could be wrong, I don't think I've seen anybody in my like friend group, my community here on Goosebumps, like Goosebumps Completionist, or Austin, aka Monster Blood, or Grayson the Goosebumps Kid. I don't think I've seen any of those guys. I don't think I've ever heard Bjorn, Goosebumps Aussie fan, ever mention this thing. And ever mention how bad this book was, or review it, and there's probably good reason for that. And I can't wait till all of them get around to it at some point so I can hear their thoughts about this piece of garbage. Of course, recently I read another GYG book that was really rough. Not as rough as this one, but it was rough, called Secret Agent Grandma. That one was rough, but it wasn't bad. Well, I didn't like it, but you know what I mean? It wasn't a complete travesty with nothing in there to like. Whereas this one, it's certainly desolate of anything fun. At all. I liked nothing about it. I liked none of the characters, even the one that's supposed to be me. I didn't like any of it. I thought it all sucked. Every bit of this sucked. All of the little jump scare type of things, they sucked. The games in here that you play trying to figure out what page to turn it to, they sucked. The puzzles in here sucked. Everything about this book that could suck, sucked. Believe me. Anyway, Give Yourself Goosebumps number 28. Knight of a Thousand Claws. I'm done talking about this piece of garbage. The cover certainly should be judged on this book. If I had to rate it on a 5-star basis, I'd give it a 1 out of 5 stars. I know it seems super harsh. I've read a lot of bad Goosebumps in the past. Not tons and tons. Typically I have a good time or a reasonably good time, or at least find something in there to enjoy. That is not the case with this one. A Knight of a Thousand Claws is a complete loss of everything that you could love about Goosebumps. It's not even fun in a clever comedic way. It's not even like that. Anyway, 1 out of 5 stars. What do you guys think about this garbage turd here? I would love to hear what you have to say about it, because I'm not a fan, as you can tell from this review. What do you think? Put them down below. All your thoughts, all your agreements, disagreements, all your disputes, everything. I'd love to hear all that down below, even though I don't think there'll be many disputes on this opinion. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. God bless you all. And I'm going to have some Goosebumps news videos I have to catch up on, thanks to the awesome community and the news we've been getting recently. Thank you guys for being patient with me on that too. And then again, please check out my short story. It's in the description. Thank you for watching, guys. Again, God bless you. Goodbye.